Hello folks, welcome back to Building Materials 2. And although I mentioned in the Moodle site I want to combine topic 6, 7, and 8 in a single presentation video, I realized it is a huge project to do, so I decided to continue the old-fashioned way. We're going to talk about topic 6 this week, which is glass. And the topic of this week includes a description of glass, its types, and its properties. Ceramics is basically a product that use clay, and based on different grades of hardness and purity, there are different kinds of ceramics. Sometimes the term can be used interchangeably with the term pottery, so these two are basically the same thing. And there are two types, which is unglazed products and glazed products. The difference of these two types are their production process. In glazed products, there's only one process, which is a high temperature firing, and in glazed products there are three. You're going to have to first fire the products to a temperature and apply the glaze and refire the products. Glass, bricks, tiles, and sanitary fixtures are the topics we're going to talk about ceramics. The use of glass is very common in building construction, and that's why we need to know the types of glass and its properties so we can choose the right material for the building type. Here are a few examples, such as the HSBC. This is a HSBC headquarters in Hong Kong, and this is a Bank of China headquarters in Hong Kong, and this is a Louvre Museum in Paris. The first type of glass we're going to talk about today is float glass. As you can see from the manufacturing process here, all the materials, raw materials, are weighted and mixed, and they are heated to a certain temperature. So they are melted, and when they are then cooled to a certain temperature, and after an inspection section has been completed, they are cut and stored and shipped to the retail or the construction site. Another type of window glass is what we call the heat-absorbing glass, and it basically has the layers on top of the glass, so that's why it has a function of absorbing heat. So these glasses are usually available in a few different kinds of colors, such as blue, green, gray, and bronze. And of course, there are light and heat reflecting glasses. So basically, what's different in these glasses are the coating they applied. So if we apply a reflecting coating, and it will become a light and heat reflecting glasses. And of course, there are toughened glass, such as we can see this kind of glass in banks and in some types of cars. Another type of glass is laminated glass. It is basically a type of safety glass, and you can see these types in banks and in some types of cars. It can hold together when shattered, and that's why it is called a type of safety glass. As you can see from here, there are three layers. The bottom layer is a layer of glass, and the top layer is a layer of glass. It has the interlayer, which holds the top and bottom layer together. That's why it does not, break into parts when shattered. The density for normal window glass is 2.5, and there are 3.1 for lead crystal, and for some optical glasses the density can be 7.2. The stress you should know about glass is that glass is very weak in tension and very strong in compression. I'll give you one example. If you can look at the glass here, if we bend the glass, and normally there will be a break here, and the top surface is under tension and the bottom surface is under compression. So you will always notice there is a break in the tension part. That means glass is very weak in tension and very strong in compression. When talking about the thermal properties of glass, there are four concepts you should know about. The first is infiltration, and infiltration is basically the thermal air, how it passes the glass through leaks. So if there is a cracks, and there is a cracks here, the heat will come this way. And of course convection. Convection means the air will give up its heat to cooler glass. And of course radiation. And radiation is a movement of heat as infrared energy. And there are conduction. Conduction is a direct transfer of the heat through the window to the outdoors. When choosing the right type of glass for the building or for the window, there are two values you will read in the glass specifications. The first is a R value. R value is a measure of thermal resistance. So if there is a glass with a high R value, it means it has high thermal resistance. Therefore, high R value indicates high insulating value. And there are U value. U value is called the overall heat transfer coefficient. So if a product or glass have a high U value, it means that the heat can transfer through the glass more easily. So therefore, a low U value indicates high insulating value. When a light comes to a glass, it will break into three parts. The first part is reflected by the glass, and the second part is absorbed by the glass, and the third part, it will penetrate through the glass to the outdoor. Well, the extent of the absorption or the penetration or the reflection depends on the glass composition and thickness of the building insulations. So it depends what kind of layer you're using and what type of glass you're using. Summary of the glass properties. Glass is high in compression and low in tension. Laminated glass are usually of greater thickness and high strength. Water usually do not have effect on glass. The glass itself is not affected by freeze and thaw, but sometimes it can be cracked by expansion or contraction due to other type of materials which have contact with the glass. And you should also know the R value, U value, the meanings of conduction, convection, infiltration, radiation. Glass itself is not affected by ultraviolet radiation, and it is not very effective barriers to sound. The workbook this week is about glass using innovative stair design. Find an example, briefly discuss any information you can find about this case and about the type of glass, and provide an illustration of the stair. And please be sure that the illustration is related to the case you're going to talk about. It is not something else. And there's a 250 words limitation.